group. So
Okay, good.
I call the meeting to order.
Yeah, we're ready to call ourselves to order. Roll call.
Okay, it is 11:26. Bob Olson, Tom Kitson,
Present.
Jack Scrogstad,
Here.
Mike Copine,
Here.
Mike Zeman,
Here.
Jim Sheeline.
Here.
Tom Wilson.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Nancy, do you have anything for us?
Nope, I'm just here for the agenda, Tom.
Okay. Paul? No. Charlie, anything special? Okay. Minutes from last meeting, there's no corrections or additions. They'll stand as read. Seeing none, we'll accept those as read. I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna accept the minutes as read. Reports from the committee chairs. Let's go around. Mike. I say Mike Copine.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Public Safety met Tuesday, the 14th. We didn't share candy or anything, so there was no loss there. Very short meeting. The highlight of it, if I can get to my notes here. No comments from the public. We heard from Amy Johnson from the Circuit Clerk's office, just a brief. Nothing from the coroner's office, the judges, or the public defender. Very little from Kevin Lally. Stacy had a couple of comments. The activities are just continuing in her department, and all of this will be in the minutes of the meeting. The most lengthy portion was a discussion from the sheriff, and that was regarding some equipment, accident reconstruction equipment, and some weapons purchases, and also an additional deputy for the control room correction deputy. And I think if the sheriff is still here, I know he's probably talked out, but I'll ask him if he'd like to highlight on that so any questions could be answered.
As far as the accommodation for the control room deputy?
Correct.
Yes, the deputy has.
Clay?
Mike, the green, push the green button.
Becky comes after you if you don't.
So we had a deputy that was injured in an altercation in the workplace approximately 2.5 years ago. He tried to get back up to full and unrestricted duty. Unfortunately, he's at maximum medical improvement. So his doctor put work restrictions on him. He can't be on his feet very long and can only work 8 hours a day. So in an effort to supplement and augment our staffing, we believe that we can make an accommodation Monday through Friday as a control room deputy, basically working up in the mezzanine, opening the doors, and then also that would free up, because current staffing is 2 floor deputies and then 1 deputy alternates up in the mezzanine every 4 hours. So that would leave 3 down on the floor as far as prisoner transports, prisoner movements, for medical visits or for Zoom hearings, and then, or even local transports to like Ogle County or Whiteside County. The deputy would also be that 3rd deputy in the event that the individual called off as ill. We typically have to call somebody in on overtime. That would alleviate us having to call somebody in between 8 and 4:30. So I can see a definite cost savings. As far as overtime, this isn't uncharted waters. Ogle County and Whiteside County both have similar situations in that they have control room operators that supplement the control room or the deputies.
I want to comment on that too, with that gentleman being working the control room minus just a civilian, which is what Ogle County and Whiteside has, is with him being that, he's worked the floor, he knows inmates. So it's an additional safety addition, having somebody up there because they know what the officers are doing on the floor so they can see what's happening. So it's kind of nice having a deputy in that control room versus a citizen or a not non-sworn personnel, let's just say, working in that office. or in that particular area. So I think it's a benefit to have. That was one of the reasons why I was kind of halfway against having, back in my tenure there, having somebody, non-sworn officer up in that area. But having this guy up there would be beneficial for your division there.
Sheriff, will this position put whoever fills it, in this case, we have an idea, but will that put them in any further jeopardy of physical altercation or anything? Or is he going to be out of the?
He'll be out of the mix. He'll be up in the control room during the 8-hour shift.
And one last question. I'm hesitant to even bring it up, but by creating this additional position or anything, any union ramifications or questions?
I wouldn't think that the FOP would come out again, since we're trying to take care of an individual that was hurt
Okay,
in a line of duty.
thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Copine?
No, sir.
Mr. Wilson?
Properties met Tuesday at 3:00. We just discussed some of the projects that we got coming down the road and future things that we're gonna have to start taking care of. Some of the things in the old courts building that we're starting to remodel the room downstairs. Just the basic stuff for maintenance, but other than that, everything's in your on board.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Any questions? Mr. Zeman?
Thank you. Claims met twice once on January 18th. We went through 57 claims that day. Other than that, we met on February 8th and we went through 90 claims on that day with very little issues. That's it.
Any questions? Thank you, Mike. That's going much smoother, isn't it? Okay, Mr. Scruggs did.
Okay, county services met Tuesday, 9 a.m. Previous minutes were approved. Transportation, Dave Anderson walked us through the committee's, our committee's first resolution of improvements under the Highway Code RBI funds, where we moved the resolution to this committee along with the awarding bid lettings. David also stated the solid waste will start up collecting in electronics around April. The assessor's offices concluded board reviews February 8th and had 19 hearings with decisions on those hearings on February 10th. She indicated this was the first time that there was some in-person hearings opposed to all Zoom hearings since the pandemic. As she described the hearings, she mentions bailiff coming to check on them periodically. Made me feel that there might be an issue there. So I asked her what was her preference, having in-person hearings or Zoom, and she said that she preferred Zoom because people were coming in. And obviously during these hearings, they're upset about their taxes. And they can be confrontal. So so I personally think that in-person is most important for the public, but the safety of our people are just as important. So in the future, I'm going to be getting with Chief Bailiff Stewart and Sheriff Whalen, maybe having someone dedicated to those 2 days of hearings. Jennifer also indicated that she has an upcoming college graduate in the GIS field that has been interviewed and is subject to fill a vacancy in her office in the next few months. GIS is still continuing to upgrade their servers and working alongside ETSB. IT lost employee Zach Owens to resignation on the 10th. So Paul is posting job postings to fill that vacancy. So Paul promoted Jonathan to IT tech level 2. Lots. The report from Greg is on board, but he also sent to this committee to send to the full board 5311 resolution fiscal year 2024 and a public transportation applicant for an ordinance and special warranty items for this committee to send on. Chris Tennyson, his report is on the onboard platform. County Clerk Nancy is losing a 27-year employee. 20 years of that is in the election department, KJ Grossman. So she'll be retiring here shortly. No hiring for that election department until after elections. She'll be shuffling around employees to help cover. And I think it's important to recognize employees that can or at least will jump in and fill into the different departments as needed. I think we did that at the jail years ago, and I think that's a prime example there in Nancy's office. I think that's awesome that they're willing to do that, or they are doing that. She also reports sewer gas and the offices are starting to improve. Zoning, we have petitions 22P 1600, 1601, and 1603 that'll be coming to the full board of approval. 1600 and 1601 are community solar projects, and the ZBA recommends passage of those. 1603 is a special use for outdoor storage for campers, boats, trailers, and RV in the Lee Center Township area. The ZBA is not recommending passage of the 1603. Also, zoning will be taking on a best employee next month, where best will be paying the employee. The employee will start scanning documents that will be going into a new zoning software that is in the future here, or is it, do we have it, or is it coming?
We don't have it yet. It's still coming.
Okay, so for future usage on there. And that person will be also answering phones, meeting, greeting the public, and typing documents for the staff. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Jack? Thanks, Jack. Sheila.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Finance Committee just had an extensive and long, and I apologize to the Executive Committee that we ran over 20 minutes, but as we go through things, I hope you understand. We had a report from both Gridco and also the Insurance Committee. And just a note, Nancy Naylor is chairman of the Insurance Committee, and she's going to be bringing to the board an accounting eventually of the money that's been expended by the Wellness Committee, which I think is an important part. Not that we want to be dictating what the Wellness Committee does, but there needs to be, for transparency purposes, an accounting of those dollars that's expended by that committee. As far as Gridco goes, everyone is aware of the bill that basically takes away the zoning ability of the county in regards to wind and solar projects. The net effect of that, or the by-effect of that, has been to basically destroy enterprise zones. Which has a big impact of what's going on over there at Stewart and our ability to develop the industrial property. Because, you know, if you can build a solar plant in an enterprise zone, then why have an enterprise zone? Is basically what it is. Gridco is working with various legislators to make sure that there's a trailer bill that will address that, so that type of thing doesn't happen. So we had MOU in regards to cleaning services with Lee County Health Department. I got to back up. We had a funding request for ARPA in regards to the board conference room. There was a little bit of breaking of the budget, so to speak.
My fault.
Ms. Ryerson. I'm not
Although
gonna
to
say
be
it's
fair,
your
I had
fault.
nothing to do with the
It's just-
sewer issue, just saying.
But anyway, that needs to be cleaned up, and that's what that ARPA funding request was. The committee did review the ARPA staff compensation report. I think you got that down on the agenda, Nancy, but I don't think that was simply reviewed. There was no change that came out of the finance committee, so that really doesn't need to be on the agenda. Then we have the MOU for the cleaning services with Lee County Health Department. We have a revised banking authority resolution. That was simply a staff change in the treasurer's office that needs to be done. So two housekeeping measures there. The committee does recommend an increase in the LCIDA contribution for both this fiscal year and next fiscal year. And that amount would be raised from $15,000 to $50,000 per year contribution. That money had been set aside within the ARPA dollars. So that's where that money is coming from. The sheriff did inform us, it was just a review, the purchase of accident reconstruction equipment.
That's actually money that he's taking out of the DUI fund to pay for that purchase of the rifles, which had been previously approved of out of capital. And the main thing is what Mr. Copine had commented on, the control room correctional deputy. This is a increase in staff by one. And this will be for the first year being paid. The sheriff wants this to be put into place immediately or as quickly as he can. So it will occur in this fiscal year. Because of some short staffing levels, it should be a budget neutral item. But want everybody to make sure they understand we are adding a person long-term. So there is going to be a long-term cost of that, and that'll come through in the normal budget cycle. We had extensive discussion in regards to the facilities and capital prioritization of future capital projects. And I want to make sure that the committee and also the full board takes a really good look. There's a spreadsheet in regards to a 5-year capital plan in which Mr. Wilson has identified the priorities that his department has in regards to what needs to be done over the course of time. And we've attached dollar figures to that. These, I want both the board and the committee to understand these are significant expenditures that we're going to try to cash flow through in the next 5 years. And there's challenges attached to this, but it's also items that I think we're all in agreement that the things that Tom has identified and absolutely need to be done. So we have a resolution in regards to employee deferred compensation program, and we had an executive session in regards to purchase property. And that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Sheehan. Any questions for Jim? Yeah, I'm going to back up just a minute, public attendance, since we got started late. Alice, do you have anything for us? Okay, Keen? Okay, thank you. Oh, old business, we have none. New business, LCIDA contribution. I think you pretty well covered that, Jim, unless that will need to be on the agenda. Weed control ordinance. I'm going to refer that to you, Wendy, to elaborate on, please.
I'll take that. So back in 2002, this board, or not this board necessarily, but the board then adopted a weed control ordinance as was required by state statute. That ordinance had been on the books since 2002, but we've changed the committee structures and whatnot over the years. So this is a refresh essentially of what the board adopted in 2002. 98% of this document is exactly as it was in 2002. I just refreshed the committee that will be assigned to this task and also corrected a couple minor Scrivener's errors. So I'm looking for this to be, it's an ordinance, so it will lay over, but I'm looking for it to be moved on to the full board.
Okay, is there a motion to move it on to the full board?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mike first, and Jack seconds it. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, resolution appointments.
So this is why this came up, because we have to annually appoint a weed control supervisor. And in doing some research to figure out exactly what the rules were with that, I discovered that old ordinance that needed to be updated. But yes, it's that time of year. By March 1st, statute requires that this county or every county appoint a weed control officer. That's in your packet. It's the same person we've had and the same fee that we've had for, I don't know, 5 years or so.
So we need a motion to move that on also, correct? So Mr. Sheeline,
Second.
Mr. Scruggs did. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, raffle report from Walton Fest. We need a motion, to put Walton Fest raffle report on file. Mr. Scruggs did. Mr. Copine seconds it. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, review of the per diem report for county board approval, January meetings for March payout. Just need to look at it. Make corrections or additions to it.
I have a correction. On January 18th, I was at the claims meeting. No? And I got the minutes in my hands. Yeah,
Oh, this
okay.
guy came prepared.
This is a perfect example, though, why this is
Yeah.
important for you guys to look
It
at this
is.
when it comes forward, because, yeah, it happens sometimes.
Got it? Thank you.
Okay. That's the only correction we have. We can move on. Guess we're ready to go into executive session. Want to take a roll call vote to go into executive? Motion. Motion. Sorry, yeah, motion to go into. Jeez.
I'll make that motion.
Mike,
Yeah, second.
okay.
Who was the second?
Jack was second, Mike was first. Mike Zeman.
Okay, roll call vote. Bob Olson, Tom Kitson,
Yes.
Jack Scroggstead,
Here.
Mike Copine,
Here.
Mike Zeman,
Yes.
Jim Sheeline,
Yes.
Tom Wilson.
Here.